Everyone, Maurice, and welcome to Tanks Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's video, 80 terms only. The investment I'm going to talk about today will be Ethereum ticker ETH. I know it's my second video that I'm posting again today. However, as my day went on today, I realized there were a lot more positive media applications that percolate around Ethereum today. And as you saw earlier today, we sold down all the way to around like the $2,150, subsequently rebounded to the $2,250. So I did a little bit of investigations on what drove that rebound, right? Despite that level being a very strong substantive consolidation level that we've tested multiple times in the past, and if I keep tabs right now, we've tested basically 19 times as of today, right? And I did a little bit of investigations on what the catalyst that drove that V-shaped recovery that we had from the 2,150 to 2,250 is really coming from two major news that we heard earlier today. One was coming from Cointelegraph around the depictions and basically anticipatory momentum news on the London fork occurrence that's going to be expected in the next couple of weeks, right? And what London fork is, in case you guys are not aware of what this is basically the next phase, right? Bringing Ethereum closer to the proof of stake, which is called the EIP 1559. And this upgrade is proposed to replace Ethereum, the historical antiquated first price auction fee model, with a base network fee modifiable per the network demand model. And it hopes to solve the blockchain technologies high gas and transaction fees problem that we've been percolating with the news that we heard earlier today from EY with respect to the new protocol, the new initiative on the Nightfall 3, which they have been, working on and cultivating for the last 3 years ever since the failure in 2019. It seems like they're facing directly on solving the problem, right? To make blockchain, specifically Ethereum, a cheaper value proposition while at the same time without sacrificing any privacy protection problems. So this is something that is a massive macro news that is going to be percolating. A lot of major firms are working on it, right? Another news that we got with respect to a positive media affectation is coming from Market Insider, right? And this is basically a supplementary news article on the JP Morgan news that we heard a couple of days ago from Jamie Dimon on his proposition on pushing the proof of stake, for Ethereum value proposition going forward. And based on the depictions on Market Insider, it just basically reiterated by saying something about current status right now, that more than 13 billion worth of ethers has been staked on Ethereum 2.0 at the current level right now, and the momentum is slowly percolating behind the network overall that we're expecting going forward. So both news are definitely positive, both a macro seismic news that provides a lot of substantive into the long-term value proposition of Ethereum, which serves us long-term investors a really good favor, right? So definitely great news, and that subsequently rebound us, from the $2,150 level immediately up to the $2,250 level. So is this over, or are we going to see more of a sell-off going forward, right? Are we going to see more of a pump coming? So I'm going to go through a technical analysis again to revisit the charts based on the new market catalysts that we see in the analysis. So stay tuned, stick around, let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to the technical analysis on Ethereum ticker ETH. I'm recording this at 4:24 p.m. on Eastern time right now. It's currently trading around like the $2,200, trading down about 1.98%, down about 2% basically. And with respect to the sell-off that we're currently experiencing now, ever since that rebound that we had earlier today, I would say the sell-off that we had earlier today, going down all the way to 2,150. That was mainly driven by, just the market cooling off overall, right? We had 3 consecutive positive days, stem from the articles that we talked about, right? And I've been keeping tabs, right? JP Morgan article, the $542 million bet on Ethereum from an unknown entity. The EY take a crack at Ethereum on the gas fee problem with their proposition, the protocol called Nightfall 3, right? So all 3 articles has been positive, right? So today was just people taking profit, right? I think that was probably too premature to be, in my opinion, to take profit already, because we have a little bit more anticipatory momentum coming forward that I expect Ethereum to actually pump up relatively higher than the level that we're at right now. So it's great for people that took short-term profit, obviously, because of the 3 consecutive media affectations we've had so far. However, as we hit that 2,150, we immediately rebounded, right, from that level to now to the secondary level, the 2,250. But you can see that we are kind of struggling to get above it, right, because of the fact that we pumped up 3 days already. So and these two news, despite good news, right? One is the one that I just talked about on Cointelegraph on the London fork depictions on the foreshadow momentum going forward, and the other one is the $13 billion worth of ether that's been staked on Ethereum 2.0. Another momentum being built up right now, right? So just two foreshadow type of momentum media affectation, which is sufficient to drive some pump pressure, but not enough to obviously drive it in a short-term perspective, knowing the fact that we've already had 3 positive days so far. So to further pump it up, it would just require a lot more market power to do so, right? And remember, on top of the fact that today in the US is a holiday, despite yesterday was July 4th, so it's like a little bit of holiday affectation. It's not a weekend, so it's a holiday affectation that's baked into the equation at the same time. So what I see the Ethereum price point going forward is that currently, like I keep saying, right? MACD is highly overstretched right now. RSI is kind of normalizing. That's why you're seeing this curvature right now, right? So where I see going forward is actually going back down to the 2,150 again. Like that's like the comfort zone that we have been having. That's the reason why I've been testing this at least 19 times so far, right? And I've been keeping tabs, right? And I think we will see the 20th time coming, the lucky 20, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think that's possible, right? And I think there's even a high possibility to cool down even to the $2,050 level, right? Because it needs to kind of go through that normal course of cadence, right? You could see the MACD is highly stretched right now. RSI is highly overstretched right now. It's super overbought at the moment right now. That the oscillation is no longer making sense anymore, despite these two news. And I think these two news that we just got in the later afternoon today, after the sell-off that we had to 2,150, was very positive already. And despite the two positive news, we still have this kind of lack of momentum, lack of push that we were expecting, right? Despite today is a holiday again, that it's pretty hard for us to keep pumping away. Contingent on obviously corporate adoptions and utilization and some other black swan events that can knock these out of the park. But I would say these news are already pretty strong. That in the long term wise, I'm relatively in the short term wise, I am a little bit bearish, but long term wise, these numbers are jokes, right? So where I'm gonna go dollar cost average to risk mitigate for myself is I'm gonna look out for the $2,150, right? I keep quoting this number over and over again. I would start touching in a little bit, and once we get there, I'll start maybe buying like 2.5 Ethereum, and then by that time we'll see the market again to see how the dynamics looks like. If it's highly overbought, I'll probably cool off a little bit and wait for a better opportunity. But that's the goal that I'm looking at right now. I am watching the $2,150 level and the second level $2,050 level, and we should be oscillating from there and bounce back from there. And then we have to also watch out for the anticipatory pressure, driven by Bitcoin, right? Obviously, which will have some drag effect. But I see that obviously Ethereum is becoming more and more of an entity by itself that is slowly subsiding going forward. But the summit is going to be a pretty much macro catalyst that can, drastically change some of the dynamics in the market. It could form some sort of outlier into the chart as well, contingent on what they would be talking about and how that percolation will look like going forward, right? So that's something we need to watch out for. I'm not a predictor. I don't know what the debate is going to look like going forward. I just know that based on media affectation so far, it's basically the Bitcoin maximalist, Jack Dorsey, versus altcoin, if you may, right? And he invites his other, constituents like Elon Musk and Kathy Wood to be in the mix of discussions, right? I know she's a more of a neutral person. She's bullish on the overall market, right? Ethereum, her target is about $25,000. Bitcoin's about $500,000 by I don't know what year end, but I think like the next 5 years from now. Elon Musk, he's more of a kind of a mixed bag, right? He's a promoter of Dogecoin for fun, but he's also utilizing Bitcoin as a form of payment solution, but obviously with that contingency on environmental efficacy, right? So it's a mixed bag. It's kind of mixed signal, to be honest with you right now. But I think based on just the public perception on the media affectation front, more leaning towards the spectrum of Bitcoin, obviously, which can have some drag effects or anti-correlation effects to Ethereum, depending on how the media affectation is going to play out. But my prediction is that it's gonna be just dragging the overall crypto market to go up. So I think actually see Ethereum in the short term just cool down a little bit for the next couple of days, right? Knowing the fact that with these 3 consecutive positive days so far, and just cool it down. RSI goes down a little bit, MACD cools down a little bit, and then have that next pump to further do rate going forward. I think that would be the logical play for me. So again, my 2,150. And then the next level, $2,050. Those are the level I would DCA at going forward. All right, just to recap all the numbers that we just talked about in the technical analysis, I think the $2,250, that's a good level to buy for long term, but I think we have a high propensity to go down further, right, to the 2,150, which is a level that we had earlier today. And I wish I was actually there, but I was actually in the meeting, and I didn't get to actually buy at the level that I wanted to, even though we got there. So I'm kind of bumped myself. But with respect to the new term, I do foresee us to subsequently going back to this level because of how stretched the MACD and the RSI already. So I think there's a high likelihood, this may be a 60% probability that we'll get there, contingent on no more Black Swan events news that we'll be getting there, right? So 2,150, $2,050, so those are the level that I'll be eyeing at, right? And with respect to corporate adoption, 20%, 9,800, 4.4 times your money from here. All right, so that's it for today with respect to my technical analysis on Ethereum ticket ETH. Really appreciate you for dropping by again. You guys are truly amazing. Just super studious, really diligent investors. I wish I was had the opportunity to actually study along with you guys in school or in work settings. You guys are truly the best. So, but if there was anything unclear that I talked about, or anything that was, you wanted me to address a little bit more specifically, happy to address them, further. Feel free to just drop me a comment. I should be relatively responsive. I typically respond to comments right away. I check my phone all the time. I guess that's me being an alcoholic, a workaholic again, alcoholic. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. Please stay tuned for next video coming up. Take care. Bye.